Good morning, buddies. Hi and welcome. We are in the island of Bonaire. I have to admit I had no idea that this place even existed. So we're going to go out and experience it today, and I will be putting a hat on, as you can see what it's doing to my hair. Have a great day. Bonaire is one of the ABC Islands. Today we'll be riding on the Pink Bus with Christine, our driver, and Claudia, our tour guide. First, we went down the main street of the little town.
I think you have seen from your ship a little cruise ship market with local crafts. And like in other main streets, of course, you have bars, you have restaurants. You can buy souvenirs here or beachwear. There's also a shop which sells Cuban cigars, another Dutch porcelain. There's also a realtor if you want to buy a condo or a house. House average price depending on neighborhood.
Then we headed away from civilization to where there's warning signs of donkeys. Donkeys and goats roam wild on this island.
Millions of years ago, there was a collision between the tectonic plates of the Caribbean and South America. And then, under the waterline, you had explosion with magma and lava, and they were cooled down by the seawater. So we had volcanic rocks below the surface, and after millions of years, they came to the surface. And when they were still below the waterline, there were also corals building up around them, and sediment. And also, these coral formations and sediment popped up to the surface millions of years ago. And this gave us these limestone formations, like the overhangs here. And you can see where the waterline was a long time ago. A dyewood tree. And when the Spanish conquered the island, there were a lot of them all over the island. The Spanish didn't care. And then the Dutch took over the island, and they found out if you scrape the bark of the tree, you get some purple dye. And this was in the years 1650, 60, and later on. And purple was a really demanded color for the nobles, for the kings and the queens. They only wanted to wear royal blue or purple. So the Dutch cut off almost all the trees here on the island and brought them by ship to the Netherlands. And as it's a very exhausting task to scrape the bark of this tree, they gave this work to prisoners. And they even gave them a nickname, scrapers. So, not very elegant either.
Look at that.
But on Bonaire, well, we do a lot to protect nature and animals, and so we do not destroy the nest, even if they leave. And the flamingo couple only has one egg per year. And yeah, if you look at the flamingos, the adult flamingos, they are very nice creatures, very elegant. But the little flamingo, when he is born, when he hatches after 28 days, he looks like that. So yeah, not so elegant. They are of beige brown color, and they are quite clumsy. Microorganisms, little brine shrimp, algae, all these little little things, and they are feeding on them. So if you see flamingos that are of a paler color, these are mostly the younger ones. All the little insects and larvae and brine shrimp they find in the mud.
This is one of the traditional houses of the island of Bonaire. Hundreds of years old. It is now a museum. Very short doorways. Perfect just for me. Even I have to duck down to enter. Tiny, tiny doorways. And everything has a window to let the breeze come through. Very interesting. Very short doorways. And they have their fences made up of cactuses. This is to guard against goats, wild goats, and donkeys, and other predators and or people. Then we traveled to see where the salt was produced on the island. Make the salt here on the island in the sea water. The salt water is, and then they run it on this conveyor belt all the way out to the ocean to the boats that are going to take it away from here. Cool. Visitors were free to take a scoop of fresh salt home with them. These little huts were for the slaves that worked the salt fields. Nowadays, it only takes 30 people to run the whole process. Quirky and beautiful, it was great to learn about Bonaire.